the witness, Jane, was telling a story in which Puff I think he had attacked her at one time. He got mad and got upset with her. I think he may have put her in a chokehold or something when he found out that she went to one of the freak-offs. But they said that it was a rapper who was married, and everybody, all the information that came out, it was pointing to Kanye West.
You already took my family away. You already separated all my friends. I don't got no celebrity friends. Because when I was on TV, on Instagram saying, I don't know where my child is, and the Kardashians kidnapped my daughter in public, and I didn't have the address of my child, none of these wanna say something
Travis
now.
Travis gave you the address though, right?
Travis gave me the address.
Right.
But as far as Meek Mills,
No.
Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these all you fake
Wait,
hold on.
This is the same guy that got on, and I don't want to blow nobody else's platforms, got on Drink Champs about a year or so ago before Diddy was arrested, talking about Diddy was a fed, you understand? F Diddy and all this other stuff like that.
We all know Gene Deal doesn't hold back. As Diddy's former bodyguard, he's seen the industry's darkest secrets firsthand. But when he started talking about Kanye West's recent courthouse stunt, something in his voice changed. Just 1 year ago, Kanye was on Drink Champs calling Diddy a fed, screaming F Diddy to anyone who would listen. Fast forward to today, and there he is sitting in an overflow room at Diddy's ST trial, dressed in all white like he's attending one of those infamous parties, whispering with Christian Combs like they're planning something. According to Gene Deal, this isn't loyalty, it's desperation. And when a witness named Jane testified about a famous rapper at Diddy's freak-offs, Kanye's timing became more than suspicious. Gene's about to expose exactly why Kanye's support might be the worst thing that could happen to Diddy's defense, and why this reunion is really about saving his own skin. The hypocrisy runs deeper than anyone imagined. Just 12 months ago, Kanye was on a warpath against the very man he's now desperately trying to save.
You already made everybody think I'm crazy. You already took my family away. You already separated all my friends. I don't got no celebrity friends. Because when I was on TV, on Instagram saying, I don't know where my child is, and the Kardashians kidnapped my daughter in public, and I didn't have the address of my child, none of these wanna say something
Travis
now.
gave you the address though, right?
Travis gave me the address.
Right.
But as far as Meek Mills,
No.
Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these all you fake hard hold on.
Okay.
All you fake hard
That wasn't just criticism, that was pure rage. Kanye accused Diddy of working with federal agents, called him a snitch, and warned everyone to stay away. The venom in his voice was unmistakable. But fast forward to today, and something has fundamentally shifted. Gene Deal watched this transformation happen in real time. And what he's revealing about Kanye's sudden loyalty campaign exposes a calculated desperation that goes far beyond friendship.
This is the same guy that got on, and I don't want to blow nobody else's platforms, got on Drink Champs about a year or so ago before Diddy was arrested, talking about Diddy was a fed, you understand? F Diddy and all this other stuff like that. And then he talked all kind of crazy shit, Diddy. And that's how these dudes in this industry do, man. They ain't got no loyalty to themselves, bro. So by him going on there, and now they say him and Diddy made amends and stuff like that. Remember I think he did a t-shirt, a shirt or something to say free Puff and all this other stuff. So Kanye is on his, he's looking for the attention, and for him to be mentioned in the trial, and they didn't let it go through because the reason they didn't let it go through is because they said it wasn't pertinent to the charges that Puff was facing. So what happened, Jane went to Vegas and she was invited by allegedly Kanye West and his wife and them and everything like that. And they went to plays, they went to show, they went out to eat and everything. And then later on that night, they went to a hotel room. Whereas there was some other couples in there too and some other people. And there wasn't a freak off, but it was one of the guys who does the freak off with her there, and they were all sitting around watching and drinking while this guy was having with another or whatever like that, and while all of them just watching him have stuff. I guess it's some rich people industry that they do, but they were just sitting around watching this dude have a live section right there in front of them. You know what I'm saying? So she started talking about that incident in court, and that's how Kanye West's name came up, and which they didn't say his name, but they said his name because it was an objection done. You know how they do, objection, overrule, all this other stuff like that. So they said it was a rapper who's married. They gave a description of it, and it pointed straight to Kanye. And then it so happened the next day he goes up in the courtroom with Diddy and them sons.
Gene's analysis cuts straight to the bone. This isn't about loyalty or friendship, it's about relevance. For years, Kanye's only headlines came from Bianca's wardrobe malfunctions and erratic social media posts. But the moment Diddy's trial became the biggest story in hip-hop, Kanye saw his opportunity to claw back into the spotlight. The timing isn't coincidental, it's strategic. And according to Gene, there's a much darker reason why Kanye needs this alliance to work. But Gene's analysis only scratches the surface. Because the real question isn't just why Kanye suddenly supports Diddy, it's why he chose that exact moment to make his move. And when you see the timeline, it becomes absolutely chilling. The timing wasn't random. Major news outlets were already buzzing about Kanye's bizarre courthouse appearance, but they completely missed the most explosive detail that changed everything.
Grammy Award-winning rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, arriving with one of Combs' sons today, telling ABC News he was there in support of Diddy. Taking the stand today,
40 minutes in a private overflow room, not the public gallery where supporters usually sit, a private, secluded space where deals are made and secrets are whispered. Dressed in all white like he was attending one of those infamous parties, huddled with Christian Combs in hushed conversation. The optics were calculated, the symbolism deliberate, but the timing? That reveals something far more terrifying. Because Kanye didn't just randomly decide to support Diddy out of the goodness of his heart. His courthouse visit came immediately after a witness named Jane dropped a nuke in that courtroom. Testimony so explosive, it sent shockwaves straight to Kanye's phone and had him racing to damage control mode.
Said he was there to support his friend, and the timing of his arrival, oh, geez, eh? While Jane has been mostly testifying about drug-fueled freak-offs with Diddy and an array of male suits, she unknowingly broke the internet yesterday by revealing that she was in a freak-off in Vegas with an iconic rapper and his girlfriend. She testified that in January of last year, while she and Diddy were on a break, she flew there on a private jet with a, quote, hip-hop icon and his girlfriend. In Vegas, she said she walked in on one of the escorts that she and Diddy used to have in their freak-offs, and that said escort was now having sex with another woman in a hotel room while that uber-famous rapper and his girlfriend were watching and enjoying. She also testified that that uber-famous rapper told her that he, quote, always had a crush on her and that he wanted to blank her. Fill in your blank. When asked if the famous rapper and Diddy were close friends, Jane had to answer yes. Professionally and personally, Jane had to answer yes. So yeah, we're all left doing the math. Diddy's lawyers tried everything they could to get that rapper's name released publicly right then and there in court, but the judge wasn't having it. Judge said no, because that would open Jane, this witness, this pseudonym Jane, it would open her to potential harassment from that giant rapper's fan base. So yeah, the tongues have been wagging online and off. And when suddenly a massive, iconic rapper showed up at the courthouse today, yeah, you can imagine. Maybe it is completely unrelated. I don't know.
The dots don't just connect, they scream at him. Jane testifies about a famous rapper and his wife at Diddy's freak-offs in Vegas. The defense fights like their lives depend on getting this rapper's name on the court record. The judge refuses, sealing the identity. And then, like a moth drawn to flames, Kanye West materializes at the courthouse the very next day, essentially announcing to the world, "It was me." This wasn't support. This was pure, unadulterated panic. Gene Deal sees right through this desperate charade, and what he's revealing about this calculated move exposes just how cornered and terrified both men have become. But to understand why Kanye is so desperate to save Diddy, you have to go back to the beginning. Because this isn't just about two rappers. This is about a mentor who created a monster and a protege who can't survive without his master's protection. Gene Deal remembers when Kanye was just another hungry artist trying to make it in the industry. Back then, Diddy wasn't just a business partner. He was the puppet master pulling every string in Kanye's life, including the most important one.
They start going at each other crazy. You understand? And he felt like that because I believe Puff was the one probably introduced him to Kim Kardashian, if I'm not mistaken. I think Puff had something to do with him getting with Kim Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? Because she used to mess with a couple of dudes, a dude from BMF first, and she was around. So I would presume that Kim and Kanye West was all right back in the day. And then when they started getting money and they started going at each other and stuff like that, and then Kanye fell out with the Kardashians, and none of the people that he thought was supposed to be cool with him helped him. So he just started going at everybody. So it was strange after that whole drink trap. And then, you know, when Diddy got arrested, he did say some things because the government, he may look at the fact that government may come after him. So he may become an ally of Diddy's, but everybody that's gonna be around him gonna go down, man. This is crazy, man. You gotta realize that he has no way out of this, bro.
Think about that for a second. Diddy didn't just mentor Kanye's music career. He handpicked his wife, the woman who would become the mother of his children, his biggest PR asset, and ultimately his ticket into the elite circles that control Hollywood. Kim wasn't a coincidence. She was a strategic placement, and Kanye was too blinded by fame to see it. But when that marriage imploded, so did Kanye's access to the inner circle that kept him protected. And that's when things got really dark. Because without Kim as his shield, without the Kardashian machine protecting him, Kanye started engaging in the same twisted behavior that Diddy had been orchestrating for decades. The student had become the teacher, but in the worst possible way.
To me, if Kanye West is paying workers to have in front of him and his friends, ain't that trafficking? But it was done in Vegas. I think it may be legal in Vegas though. I think that's legal in Vegas. Don't quote me on it, bro. But Kanye West, he would be facing charges if it was anywhere else. But in Vegas, I don't think it's, I think it's legal in Vegas, bro. So he may not have an issue, he may not have a problem. But does he have a license to do it? That's another thing.
Vegas, the city where anything goes and nothing gets reported. Gene's revelation about Kanye's activities there isn't just gossip, it's a confession. While Kanye was publicly ranting about industry corruption, he was privately participating in the exact same behavior he claimed to despise. The hypocrisy runs so deep, it's suffocating. And now, with both men facing the consequences of their actions, they need each other more than ever. Diddy created the monster, and now that monster is the only one desperate enough to try and save him. But there's another player in this twisted game who's been operating in the shadows, connecting all the dots between Diddy and Kanye for years. Someone who Kanye himself has repeatedly called out as a federal agent, yet somehow remains untouchable in the inner circles of power. Gene Deal knows the streets talk, and when it comes to Cory Gamble, the whispers have been consistent for years. This man isn't just Kris Jenner's boyfriend. He's the invisible hand orchestrating deals that should never see the light of day.
Possibly survival? We don't know. One of the quietest but most significant connections between Kanye and Diddy comes through Cory Gamble, Kris Jenner's longtime partner. Cory has often been seen as a gatekeeper of the Kardashian empire, but he's also rumored to have deep ties to Diddy's inner circle. Multiple sources have placed him at Diddy's infamous white parties, events that under the surface have been described as wild, exclusive, and at times morally ambiguous. And let's not forget, freak-offs often happen after this. Kanye has publicly criticized Cory, implying that he was sent to infiltrate the Kardashian family and that he's actually a CIA agent, that he's a handler somehow. He has ties to everyone. No one knows where he comes from. His backstory is so bizarre, and I'm going to do a deep dive about him. I'm working on it, but just know, like, he has no family. There is no history. You can't find anything about him. But then suddenly you see him with Jay-Z, getting off a plane with him and Beyonce, him coming out of the club with them and helping to kind of shield the cameras away from her when she was allegedly drunk coming out of the club. He's been at games with Jay-Z. He's worked with Scooter Braun. Somehow magically he started working with him, and then he was to control and manage and help, guide Justin Bieber right when he came out of Flavor Camp with Diddy when he was a young boy. So something about this is not sitting right. People are trying to figure out, what is this connection? And with Kanye calling him a Fed, or actually CIA, to me, it's very jarring to think about their connections.
The middleman. That's exactly what Cory Gamble has always been. The facilitator who makes the impossible happen. From Justin Bieber's tour manager to Diddy's inner circle, then sliding into the Kardashian empire the moment Kris got divorced. The timing wasn't coincidental. This man has been strategically positioned at every intersection of power, money, and scandal in Hollywood. And Kanye, he saw right through it. Because while everyone else was fooled by Cory's quiet demeanor and nice guy act, Kanye was screaming warnings that nobody wanted to hear. The same man who called Diddy a Fed had been calling out Cory Gamble for years.
That's not some paranoid. Yes, Cory CIA. Like, he didn't even have to say it.
Godless. That's what Kanye called him. Not just a handler, not just a boyfriend. Godless. Kanye exposed how Cory appeared at Kim Porter's house when her body was being removed. How he controlled what music Kim should listen to. How his job was to get Kim linked with the liberals in a deep way. And now, with both Diddy and Kanye facing their darkest hour, guess who's still operating in the shadows, still pulling strings, still making connections that benefit everyone except the people he's supposed to protect? The man Kanye warned us about years ago is still the puppet master. And both Diddy and Kanye are dancing to his tune, whether they realize it or not. But Cory Gamble isn't the only connection linking these two men in ways they never wanted exposed. Because while Kanye was busy calling out federal agents and industry puppets, he was allegedly engaging in the exact same predatory behavior that would eventually land Diddy in federal custody. The allegations against Kanye aren't just serious, they're a carbon copy of Diddy's playbook. And when you hear the details, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore.
Now, going back to this lawsuit, Pishota has come forward to say that Kanye West co-hosted a party with Sean Combs in Santa Monica, California that led to her. This incident allegedly happened before she worked for West as his assistant in 2021 and 2022. She claims she was working with a, quote, musician client, who is not identified in the court filing, when West sought them out to invite them to the music studio Shindig. Now, Pishota claims that West told everyone that they had to drink or leave the party. Now, after taking a few sips of her drink, Pishota claims that she, quote, suddenly started to feel disoriented, began to slip into an altered and highly impaired state. Pishota says that she doesn't remember anything else and woke up the next day feeling traumatized and disturbed. The amended complaint says that Pishota was mostly concerned that maybe she had embarrassed herself in front of her then client, or maybe even Kanye West himself. Now, Pishota reportedly believed that someone who helped prepare the drinks was responsible for drugging her, but years down the line, when West reportedly fired Pishota from her job as his assistant, he allegedly confessed to her that they had, quote, hooked up at the party after she was drugged. So according to Peixoto, West was having an argument with his then wife Kim Kardashian, who was accusing him of cheating on her with Peixoto. And Peixoto wanted to clear things up and suggested that she reach out to Kim to assure her that nothing had ever happened. But she claims West stopped her from sending the message, saying, "We did kind of hook up a little one time." She says he started to reminisce about that party years before, and when Peixoto said she didn't remember any of that, he reportedly laughed and said, "Women love to say they don't remember."
Lauren Peixoto's testimony is chilling in its specificity. A studio session co-hosted by both Kanye and Diddy. Drinks that were mandatory if you wanted to stay. The immediate disorientation, the memory loss, the shame and confusion the next day. And then, the most damning detail of all, Kanye later admitting they hooked up after she was deed. This isn't just an allegation. It's a confession wrapped in casual conversation. The Pred revealing his crime like it was just another Tuesday. But here's what makes this even more terrifying. This wasn't an isolated incident or a moment of weakness. According to Gene Deal, this behavior represents a systematic pattern that mirrors Diddy's operation so closely. It's like they were reading from the same twisted manual.
Her original lawsuit against West, Peixoto sued for 15 claims or causes of action, including breach of contract, wrongful termination, harassment, unpaid wages, gender discrimination, and she named not only Kanye West, but also his companies, Yeezy Apparel, Yeezy Footwear, Yeezy Construction. The suit reads, quote, "Plaintiff has worked in the music industry for approximately 15 years. She has successfully held positions in and as artist management and representation, A&R, marketing consultant, and project management. Due to her professional success, plaintiff had occasions to interact professionally with many artists, including, without limitation, defendant Kanye West, aka Ye. Plaintiff creatively collaborated with defendant on Yeezy Season 1 women's fashion line and placed 3 songs on Donda, Kanye's 2021 album." So West allegedly wanted to make Peixoto his executive assistant, personal assistant, in connection with his business affairs and his personal life. They agreed on a salary of $1 million a year, and according to Peixoto, she was required to be available to him 24/7. The filing states, quote, "At all relevant times, defendant West was aware that plaintiff maintained a strong social media presence comprised of her Instagram and an OnlyFans account, the latter of which was run entirely by an independent management company, and he did not have any issue or objection to it. To the contrary, defendant Kanye West, aka Ye, often boasted to friends and colleagues that plaintiff was an OnlyFans superstar." But that seemed to change, according to Peixoto, because she writes, "Much later, in and around August 2022, defendant West stated that he wanted plaintiff to be godlike and asked plaintiff to delete her OnlyFans account. Defendant West agreed to pay plaintiff $1 million if she did so. In further reliance upon defendant's representations, plaintiff deleted her OnlyFans internet account, thereby giving up the annual sums generated from such account. West never paid plaintiff as promised."
Carbon copy. That's exactly what this is. The same substances, the same coercion, the same memory manipulation, the same casual admission of guilt. Kanye didn't just learn music production from Diddy, he learned how to be a Pred. And now, with both men facing the consequences of their actions, their desperate alliance makes perfect sense. They're not just friends supporting each other, they're co-conspirators, trying to control a narrative that's already spiraling out of their hands. The student and the teacher, both drowning in the same toxic waters they created together. But the most damning evidence of Kanye's desperation isn't what he did in public, it's what he said in private. Because when the walls started closing in and the allegations started mounting, Kanye did something that exposed just how isolated and terrified he really was. Gene Deal revealed a phone conversation that strips away all the bravado, all the public posturing, and shows us a man who has burned every bridge in Hollywood except one. And that one bridge, it leads straight to a federal prison cell.
Tell you the real from the front line, you know what I'm saying? It's wicked, 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 so you be careful.
Yeah.
We can't do nothing if they, you know what I'm saying? I need you out there, you feel me?
Yeah. I hear you, yes sir.
Yeah.
Yes sir.
Man, have some fucking fun.
Yeah.
Not having no fun and on the mic, have some fun, chop up them samples, get back on your hitman vibe.
Yeah.
Have some fun, get back to smiling.
Yeah.
These other motherfuckers, they're wasting your time, big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Wasting your time, you know what I'm saying? So put that love in your heart, man, and enjoy yourself, man. When I get out there, man, I'm gonna see you tear down the stadiums. I need to see you back on that stage and actually rapping and performing and everything. I be dreaming of that shit.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for me to just grab the mic and get back on. It's like I love music again. It was a time when it's just like everything was so frustrating. I can't explain it, but
jump into your bag, man. Jump into your bag. We're gonna have years and decades to fight these. Right now, enjoy your life. This is coming from me, from God to you.
Right.
Enjoy your life. Fall back in love, like when you was making the beats in the shop. You're coming up to Daddy's house and rock studio and just chop the during that SC 1200 MPC. And have a good time and say world and all the bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. So I love you, man. I appreciate you. And thanks again. And I'm gonna see you soon, man.
Yeah, yes sir.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna be. You gonna definitely beat this. Yeah. And that's it.
That's it, and that's all, baby. But I'm gonna make sure I call you back or something. It'd be good to hear your voice again.
Yeah.
Like 59 more days before trial, so I'll definitely be touching in to tap into your energy or something.
Yeah.
Play me some home, give me some fucking life. This pop up hell, this is fucking sad as a motherfucker.
Shit, insane.
The devil is a liar. Word up, big.
Coming out though.
Yeah, man, but I love you once again, man. I'm gonna let y'all go and get back to some fun, man. I don't wanna bring your vibration down.
Never.
Keep it in a high frequency, man. You keep doing everything you're doing, man. You got that freedom. And when I get out and I get that freedom, whew,
Right.
I am not caring about nothing but being happy. And I want you to feel that. I want y'all to have that for yourselves, man.
Listen to that desperation. Kanye calling Diddy to lament about the injustice he's facing, while Diddy responds that Kanye is the only one supporting him. Think about what that means. In an industry built on relationships and loyalty, Diddy has been abandoned by everyone, except the one person who might be just as guilty. This isn't friendship calling, this is fear recognizing fear. Two preds circling each other because they have nowhere else to go. And that fear becomes even more obvious when you look at how Kanye has been handling his own exposure attempts. Because while he's publicly supporting Diddy, his own behavior when trying to expose industry secrets reveals a man who's been compromised beyond repair.
Amount of control, and you get the kings and the chiefs and all that. You try to tear down their reputation. You try to come and take them, lock them up. Anybody who ain't play by the rules or play by the game or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And when you say you wasn't invited to these parties, obviously Cat Williams done talked about these parties. People will mention
I don't know if it's a party. I'm saying that metaphorically. You know what I'm saying?
But you've heard about the parties that everyone had talked. But you've never got invited to.
I don't know what part. I don't know. I don't even know what the party. That's how far out of it I am. I don't know. But people call me Illuminati too. It's like, call me what? Okay, cool. I'm Illuminati. Whatever it is. It's like whatever. I don't care. I really don't give a. I really don't give.
There you have it. What made you drop Vultures during that time specific? And what was it about the whole situation? Because listen, you can say what you want, but I know there's a reason why you did that when you did it. Can we speak about that today?
Watch how quickly he backtracked. One moment he's ready to expose everything, giving up major information about industry corruption. And then suddenly he's pulling back, retreating, covering his tracks. That's not artistic temperament. That's someone who got a phone call. Someone who was reminded of what they have to lose. The same man who once fearlessly called out the system is now too scared to follow through on his own revelations, because Kanye knows that if he goes down, he's taking Diddy with him. And if Diddy goes down, there's no one left to protect either of them from the consequences of what they've both done. But here's where Kanye's desperation turned into a complete disaster, because instead of quietly supporting Diddy behind the scenes, he decided to make a public spectacle that backfired so spectacularly, it might have sealed both their fates. Gene Deal watched Kanye's courthouse stunt unfold and immediately recognized it for what it was. Not loyalty, but the most poorly executed PR move in hip-hop history. And the consequences? They're about to destroy everything Kanye was trying to protect.
Footage that has leaked, but The speculation has been strong enough to cause visible panic in certain circles. Kanye showing up just as these whispers, intensify, not just in the courtroom, but online, makes the visit feel less like a show of support and more like some type of reconnaissance mission. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It's an attempt to, dissuade or change the court of public opinions, make them see things in a different light. I don't know, because keep in mind, the jury doesn't know about this. We know it as the public. So this didn't help Diddy in court at all. It may not have helped or hurt him, as maybe he expected it to do to help him, but we know it didn't do anything because the jury does not have knowledge of what is going on outside the courtroom. They're not allowed to look at anything with the case. They may look at something during the case, so they may have found out about it, but based on the rules that are set forth for the jury, they should not know. So this could only be a stunt in order to prove something to the public, to do something in the minds of the of us who are watching it and change the court of public opinion. But again, we don't know why.
Gene called it perfectly. This wasn't some noble gesture of friendship. This was Kanye trying to pull a Stevie J and Usher move, showing up to create positive optics for Diddy. But unlike those calculated appearances, Kanye's timing was catastrophic. He didn't just show support, he essentially confessed to being the unnamed famous rapper in Jane's testimony. The jury might not know what happened outside that courtroom, but the court of public opinion, they connected those dots instantly. Kanye thought he was playing chess, but he was actually playing Russian roulette with a fully loaded G. And now both men are staring down the barrel of consequences that neither of them saw coming. The student tried to save the teacher, but instead, he might have just buried them both. And that's exactly what happened. Gene Deal's analysis wasn't just commentary, it was a prophecy. Because when you step back and look at the complete picture, what you see isn't just two men supporting each other. What you see is a desperate alliance that's about to collapse under the weight of its own contradictions. Gene Deal has been watching this industry for decades, and he's seen how these power plays end. When desperate men make desperate moves, they don't just destroy themselves, they take everyone around them down too. And that's exactly what's happening here.
The witness, Jane, was telling a story in which Puff had, I think he had attacked her at one time. He got mad and got upset with her. I think he may have put her in a chokehold or something when he found out that she went to one of the freak-offs. But they said that it was a rapper who was married, and everybody, all the information that came out, it was pointing to Kanye West.
We're back where we started, but now you understand what Gene Deal was really telling us. That witness didn't just indirectly confirm Kanye's presence at Diddy's freak-offs. She exposed the entire foundation of their relationship. Master and student, pred and protege, two men who thought they were untouchable until the walls started closing in. Kanye West lost more than his mind when Gene Deal started talking. He lost his last chance at controlling the narrative. Every desperate move, every courthouse visit, every Free Diddy campaign just dug the hole deeper. The man who once fearlessly exposed industry corruption is now trapped by the very system he claimed to fight against. And Diddy, the mentor who created this monster, is watching his protege destroy them both with the same reckless abandon that made him famous in the first place. Gene Deal didn't just expose their shady dealings, he exposed the inevitable end of an empire built on lies, manipulation, and the kind of power that corrupts absolutely. And now, as the federal government closes in and the evidence mounts, both men are learning that in the game they chose to play, there are no winners, only survivors. And right now, neither one of them looks like they're going to make it out alive. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.